We've all read the headlines. A teen gets behind the wheel after he's been drinking and dies in a tragic car accident. Sexual assault occurs at a high school party where alcohol was consumed. Football team suspended after alcohol incident. These stories are much more common than you might think, yet sadly, many parents still don't consider underage drinking a major problem, and some even consider it a rite of passage. But the truth is, underage drinking is anything but harmless, and much of that has to do with the way youth drink. For example, did you know that adults ages 26 and older drink on average 2 to 3 drinks per occasion, about 8 to 9 times per month? Youth, on the other hand, drink less frequently, on average about 6 times per month, but greater amounts per occasion, about 5 drinks on average. So, when teens drink, they're drinking to get drunk.
Kids tend to drink opportunistically, which means they drink when there is an opportunity. Drinking is illegal for young people, and so they can't plan when to have a drink. So many try to drink as much as they can.
Both biology and environment factor into this drinking behavior. Typically, after the onset of puberty, there's an increase in risk-taking and sensation-seeking, which can contribute to alcohol use. In addition, kids are trying on different roles and are trying to fit in with peers. The availability of alcohol in a particular child's environment is also an important factor.
Adolescence is a stressful time in terms of increasing demands at school and at home, and some young people will use alcohol to cope with the pressure. Times of transition, this includes the transition from elementary school to middle school, from middle school to high school, also present increased risk. Across adolescence, young people have more unsupervised time. Kids will learn to drive. That gives them more mobility, more independence, and perhaps more opportunities for underage drinking, and brings with it the added risk of drinking and driving.
Many youth begin drinking at a young age. According to the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, about 40% of kids start drinking by the 8th grade. We also know that alcohol use and binge drinking increase dramatically during adolescence. Despite the adverse effects, alcohol is the most abused substance by young people, used more than tobacco or illicit drugs. We need to be paying attention. Research shows that kids who begin drinking before age 15 are 5 times more likely to develop alcohol dependence at some point in their lives than those who begin drinking at 21. And in addition, drinking during adolescence can affect many aspects of development, including adversely impacting the developing brain.
We now know that the brain continues to develop across adolescence and into a person's mid-20s, the same period of time when many young people start to drink and significantly ramp up their drinking. Studies with heavy drinking adolescents have shown deficits in visual-spatial functioning. Visual-spatial functioning is involved in performing tasks like copying a design, reading a map, and organizing verbal material on a page. Kids who drink heavily compared to kids who don't also do less well on tests of memory. We also worry that chronic heavy alcohol consumption by adolescents can change the developing brain in ways that set it up to be more vulnerable for future alcohol dependence.
So what can we do to help reduce this dangerous behavior? Research from the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism shows that the environment, both at home and outside the home, has the strongest influence on how and when youth drink. The adults in a young person's life can help by protecting children and youth from harm, especially during periods of increased risk, by guiding, monitoring, disciplining, and supporting them in ways that are appropriate to their level of maturity. And this is referred to as scaffolding. Things we know that matter are positive peer groups, alternative activities, school connectedness, parental monitoring and open lines of communication, ensuring that the child is surrounded and influenced by a caring adult. Many community anti-drug coalitions across the country are also helping to reduce youth drinking by implementing strategies to reverse the social acceptance of youth alcohol use and to reduce access to alcohol. For example, coalitions often get ordinances passed that ban alcohol from places of recreation, such as parks and beaches. Pass social host ordinances in their cities and states so that parents are penalized for serving alcohol to minors in their home. Develop partnerships with vendors so that youth can't access alcohol at stores or so they can't host parties at hotels. There is no reason to accept youth alcohol use as the norm. There are things we can all do to address this behavior. To learn more, visit CADCA.org and the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism